Now, let me tell you why the Red Sox, in my mind, did this before Jeff Passan of ESPN comes along and says it, right? So there's a luxury tax in Major League Baseball that tries to level the playing field, doesn't allow teams to just collect as many big-name players without, if you get over a certain threshold in Major League Baseball, I think it's like $200-some-odd million in a payroll. If you get over that, then you have to pay money into a pool that gets split amongst the lower revenue teams. And then if you're over the threshold over a certain period of time, then it gets to be even worse, and teams are trying to get under those thresholds. And the Yankees actually did that, allowing them to go and cash in for Garrett Cole. And I told this to you, Christopher. I told this to you.
I know. I mean, I knew it was coming. It still doesn't make it any better.
The Red Sox thought that Mookie Betts wasn't coming back. They weren't going to be able to keep him. And, you know, these youngsters that they get have a greater value, if you will, than draft choices that are coming to them if they lose Betts as a free agent. And they cleared about $50 million in payroll flexibility for moving forward. So long term, and they're underneath this threshold. So they were kind of, if you will, hitting the reset button.
Yeah.
I know.
Because John Henry's strapped for cash.
No, I understand that. I understand that you just say, you know, these are rich billionaires, and our buddy Tom Werner's a rich billionaire. You should just pay it.
And you have a top 3 player on your roster under the age of 28, under 30. A guy who's already won a championship and MVP and proven he's one of the best players you've ever had in your organization.
So let me throw this to you. Do you think the way you're feeling right now is the way Nationals fans felt this very point last year? Well,
no,
Harper hadn't gone.
Absolutely not.
I know you think that Betts is a better player than Harper,
and he's already won.
I understand that, but didn't have an injury history. I'm saying to you, the Nationals let their best player go. They let their best player go, and I know that you might be sitting here saying it's apples and oranges because you don't have Scherzer or Strasburg walking through that bullpen door to start a game.
That's definitely true.
Okay, so I get it.
If Sale is just as good, but
Nationals fans were like, okay, so you're not spending all this money on Harper. You're letting him go. Let him go in division. What the hell are you doing? They won the World Series. I'm not saying your Red Sox are winning the World Series. Trust me, Yankee fans today are thinking, all right, Astros kind of blown up a little bit here. Red Sox have raised a white flag on the season.
Totally.
Yankees get Garrett Cole, which kind of led to the Dodgers saying we got to do something, and all of this being brought about. It's not as dark as you think it is.
No, it definitely is.
Okay.
It definitely is.
You've got.
I know you laid it out. Creating flexibility with the payroll.
Long term. If Mookie Betts,
that is a really hard sell to fans today.
How many games did you finish behind the Yankees last year? A million, right?
A lot.
Who was sitting there in right field during the entire season?
Still had a great season.
I got it. So you're looking over the landscape. You want again remove your.
I totally understand. If
your
objectively looking at this,
he's gone.
I know. I understand.
He's not coming back.
But this move happened because you fired the guy who gave long-term deals to Eovaldi and Chris Sale and traded for David Price. Maybe you don't win the World Series without David Price. Maybe you do. That team was loaded anyway. But you gave those outrageous contracts,
right,
and now you don't get to keep your once-in-a-50-year player.
What if you asked your once-in-a-50-year player, hey, when everybody's thinking Harper's gone, you go to him and you say, how about we set the market now, $300-some-odd million, and he says, nope. What do you do? And you're sitting there, you're wondering, we're going to lose this guy. Where you call him in the office, you look him in the face, and you say, I want to give this guy, I'm going to give you the contract that basically that Harper's going to get, And this is before Trout got his $400 million. And I understand that you think you're this good and you don't want to set the mark, and you want to set the mark. And I am the ultimate believer, and you got to bet on yourself. That's why I'm sitting in this chair. And that's why personally, I mean, just not to talk about the business of this show, that's why I intend this show to go on much longer than just this month for everyone that knows what's going on with this show. I'm betting on myself. That's why I'm on the NFL Network. That's why I'm sitting here. So I don't blame Mookie Betts for doing whatever he might have been doing.
I don't either.
I got it.
You get yours.
He's now out here in Los Angeles. As we all know, the Dodgers have money, have a mint underneath their seat cushions in their My Box. Okay?
But if you're Boston,
so I understand that he's there. But if you're Boston,
you make him an offer he can't refuse. It's as simple as that. Do you want your number up in the rafters? Do you want more banners? Do you want a statue on Lansdowne? Yes, yes, yes. Here's the check. Fill in the number.
I'm wondering, and I'm saying this, at some point the Yankees are going to have to make a decision on, like, Judge, Sanchez, Gleyber Torres. You can't pay them all. Certainly with Stanton making an absurd amount of money and Cole's making all of this money. No matter how much money the Yankees make, sitting there also with Jerry Jones in that business that puts, everybody should look up that the Yankees are in business and Jerry Jones and how much money they probably all make together, putting names on stadiums and selling PSLs and all of that. At some point, you can't pay them all. And in a couple of years, there's going to be a new collective bargaining agreement in Major League Baseball that might raise the luxury tax threshold. Like the high market teams might win this thing and be able to pay some of these guys a little bit more without having to put money in a kitty and make sure teams that are sitting in the bottom third of Major League Baseball, who aren't nearly as competitive as they need to be, they just sit back and make their money. Yankees may have this issue too. I'm just saying it is not nearly as cut and dried as, like, let's pay. What if Mookie didn't want to be there anymore? What if he honestly didn't want to be there anymore?
Maybe. I would like,
you're going to
but I would like to hear him say that. We haven't heard anything from him.
You haven't, have we? I'm not going to buy this. I understand you would be totally having your heart ripped out, Chris. I get it. I totally understand
It's
it.
not even that. It's just more disappointing in the ownership. That's all it is.
But what if I told you right now that it does set up with a new GM who's going to hire a new manager? You hit a little bit of a reset button that you need. The Price's contract, even if you eat half of it, you're still off of half of it. Betts is somebody that you just maybe you look around and you say, I don't know if he's worth.
But the idea of
$400 million,
yes,
Chris.
But the idea and the concept of having to swallow a reset after 2 years from winning 108 games and dominating the playoffs, that is really difficult for the fan base to take today.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that when the Yankees play the Red Sox next year, I'm not sitting here and thinking it's a total steamroll job. Because you still have.
I mean, we'll see.
Brother,
there's no manager. The truck left for Fort Myers, there's no one in charge.
I think one's coming, and obviously one's going to have to come. One's coming, and now that you're hitting a reset button in a manner that you're not used to having it reset. And I'm, as a Yankee fan, I'm not going to. Oh yeah, this is going to be a total, absolute steamroll job when you got Benintendi, you got Bogarts, you got JD Martinez.
JD's still there, sure.
Okay, I'm sure there's some guys coming up from AAA that are going to
rake. And this Verdugo by, he might hit 30 home runs.
Yeah,
but you don't hit a reset 2 years after the greatest season in 100 years.
Nationals let Harper walk.
You don't do it.
Nationals let Harper walk and won the World Series.
Harper ain't Betts.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.